So apparently Japan has decided to bend the knee over the translation of the word tsundere. So apparently for some reason, tsundere is a problem, and they had to fix the word. It's absolutely ridiculous, and no reason for the change. No reason. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, apparently Japan has decided to bend the knee when it comes to the game House of Fata Morgana. Apparently the word tsundere is not good and it has to be changed. Oh no, tsundere is so bad. Many people know the term tsundere. It's not even an offensive term. There's no reason to change it. Japanese visual novel developer Novectacle stands behind controversial English localization changes in the House of Fata Morgana. This article is by Bounding Into Comics. Following a wave of backlash resulting from the discovery of narratively jarring changes made to the House of Fata Morgana visual novel, the game's translation team and original developers have publicly expressed their continued confidence in the controversial alterations. Developed by independent Japanese developer Novectacle, The House of Fata Morgana is a visual novel which follows the star-crossed romance of two lovers, Gazelle and Michael, as they attempt to reunite their souls across historical time periods and spiritual reincarnations. Sounds like a pretty interesting premise. What unfolds as the player progresses is a sordid tale of heartbreak, physical violence, and supernatural mystery taking place in a mansion that constantly rotating assortment of residents and guided by an ever-present and mysterious maid. Originally released by Novectacle in 2012, the visual novel saw an international release in 2016 courtesy of visual novel English localization and distribution company Manga Gamer. Manga Gamer. For those of you who don't know Manga Gamer, the problem with Manga Gamer is, for one, they don't pay their employees very well. They're a very cheap company. And, so when it comes to trying to get translations, they don't cost much to get Manga Gamer to translate things. So they're very cheap in that regard. But, they like to also go around and insult anime fans for being anime fans. They have pretty much talked about their disdain for not liking anime. The House of Fata Morgana entered recent discourse on May 2nd following a tweet featuring a screenshot of an interaction between the witch Morgana and a paranoid businessman named Jacobo, in which Morgana asks how Jacobo's fragile male ego is holding up, with the poster exclaiming their enjoyment of how this being the first thing said to Jacobo will never not be a thing of effing beauty. What? What? So you replace the word tsundere with fragile male ego? Are you kidding? What? How does that even relate? How does that... Wait, what? Without delving into too detailed of an explanation of the House of Fata Morgana's intricate plot, Jacobo is seen to be an exceedingly jealous man, spending most of his time in the mansion concerned over his suspicious that his wife is attempting to seduce other men. He even goes so far as to lock her in a small cottage on the property to prevent her from communicating with potential suitors. After his wife flees and Jacobo learns his suspicions were the result of outside machinations, he dedicates his life to searching for her, ultimately to no avail. Despite his insecure and pompous exterior, Jacobo is later revealed to have protected Morgana when she was just a child, rescuing her from torture, caring for her wounds, and eventually falling in love with her. The initial tweet was soon retweeted by Yukino, a member of the visual novel's Manga Gamer directed localization team, who noted that the fragile male ego line was originally written as tsundere, the term for a character who first shows hostility towards another character before gradually revealing their true affections. The line was changed in localization in an attempt to make the game more palatable to the Western audiences. Oh, dear God. See, this is the problem. They feel that they have to change things, or at least that's what they say, to make things much better and more relatable for the Western audience. It'd be better for them, right? That's not what the Western audiences want. What we want is a game, just saying, that is translated properly without agendas being thrown into them. This is what the person had to say. Fun fact, in the Japanese, Morgana is calling him a tsundere here. And you have no effing idea how many brainstorming sessions it took for several weeks to come up with this translation. Why? Why didn't you just keep the word there? That just took more time for you as a team to get the game finished. That's not that hard to keep it the way it was. Nobody had a problem with the word tsundere in the beginning. There's no reason to change it now to fragile male ego. Your job is to translate. Your job is not to push agendas. Your job is to keep it to the original script as much as possible. There's no reason to change this. It's absolutely ridiculous. Good Lord. We've seen this before, and here it comes again. Absolutely ridiculous. And then there were other fans that came in that were starting to say, why were there changes? And there wasn't any reason for them. Why not just use tsundere? Either people will understand it and get a kick, or people won't and they'll look it up and learn it. Tsundere conveys a sense of hot, cold friendliness. Fragile male ego seems like a stretch. Oh, a very big stretch. It's nothing more than an agenda to be pushed. Now, of course, when we look at the tweet by Yukino and what Yukino had to say in response to this, this was their quote.
There were a number of factors that led to the decision: setting, time period, character voice, target audience. I've used tsundere, as in other projects. We just decided a different approach was the most fitting answer for the situation.
How? Why did you change it? There was no reason. Like I stated, tsundere is not an offensive term. Nobody gets triggered by that term. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then, of course, you had people coming in here to defend the translator, saying,
I'd highly suggest for more people getting angry about the translators pushing an agenda to actually read the House of Fata Morgana. It speaks at length about historical sexism, gender roles, domestic violence, and transphobia. There's no agenda here that isn't in the Japanese game.
What? What? That's exactly what they're doing. Their job is to keep the script as close to the original as it's supposed to be, and instead, what we're looking at here is we're looking at them changing it to fit their agenda. Tsundere, there was never a problem with that word in the first place, so why change it? It's ridiculous. That's not their job. Their job is to translate. Seriously. And fans came in also saying, as a connoisseur of male tsundere characters, this ain't it, Chief. Really doesn't work with what that's all about, and seems really passive-aggressive. The original line has tsundere. Imagine boasting over how hard you worked and how much company money you wasted to change a word that everyone in your audience would be familiar with. Thousands of people could do with your job in this time of need, and you use it for this. That's a good point. Seriously, this is why people wonder, why is it taking so long to get games out there? Why are they using up so much of their money? Because they sit over here and they take company time, and then, of course, in turn, what happens? To come up with a word that just makes the game take that much longer to get out, whenever there was no reason for that. It's ridiculous. Another person responded, no, this is not the way. The original script said one thing. The localized script should say the same thing too, even if it uses different words, because English works like that. It doesn't work like, saying an entire archetype of anime girls has a masculine ego problem. Why not use tsundere? It's pretty much a well-understood concept worldwide now, and if not, easy to look up. Undertale, a Western game, calls a cactus a tsundere of plants. I'm in Alabama and 45-year-old rednecks know what a tsundere is. Translation is better than localization. Yikes! This is the thing. When you look at this, people have been trying to come in and say that this is the way, or, oh yes, this is how it should be done. Many people are also coming out and saying things like this. The translation doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing. It doesn't. The localization translation is strange. It's really weird, and there's no reason to change the word. Tsundere is fine. Everybody gets tsundere, and that's the thing. To change it to fit your agenda, there's no reason for it. Not only that, but think about it. The Western audience, why do they love anime? They love it for the way that it is. They don't want changes to it. They like it being the way that it is, and the script should stick to what it's supposed to be. not changed because of a political agenda. To say that they're changing it for the Western audience. No, that's just an excuse to say we're pushing our agendas. I mean, as a localization team, you are supposed to keep the script to what it is. You're not respecting the creator's image when you change this to fit your agenda. That's not respect. That is just changing it to fit what you want it to be. And the other problem with this is that this turns people off to the game. What this does is this takes them out of their experience of what they're playing, and people don't like that. And see, this leads on to the next problem, because when you have these Puritans screaming on Twitter all the time about change and how this is offensive or that's offensive, what these companies need to keep in mind is that these aren't the real fans that scream this stuff. You know, the real fans are fine with how it's been. They haven't had a problem with it. And whenever these companies, which for some reason, I don't know why, but every single time they look to Twitter and they believe that these Puritans that are screaming that this is offensive or whatever it is that they're, going ree about, thing of it is that they don't support the games. They don't support the shows. All they do is sit over here just to make it worse for everybody else and to sour their experience. That's the entire point of what they do. And then, of course, things change. And then what do? The Puritans go scurry to something else to try to ruin it also. And so Manga Gamer came out and stated this: the mass of criticism being leveled at Yukino prompted responses from the teams involved with the visual novel's production. Manga Gamer condemned the backlash as harassment and encouraged fans to reach out to their support email, claiming that the company does take legitimate criticism into consideration.
We would like to make it abundantly clear that we stand behind our localization staff and do our utmost to ensure that the developers' wishes are respected as well. While there are numerous equally valid approaches to any given translation problem, harassment is not one of them.
Well, if you really took criticism, then you would understand that this is not harassment. You would understand that you have upset fans by trying to push your agenda into a game. That's what you would understand. You would also understand that respecting the creator's work is that you would keep it as close to the original script as possible. Now, of course, when it comes to translation, yes, there are language barriers, and you have to make sense of sentences to make them work when it comes to translations. But you keep that to what the script's supposed to be. You don't change it because you want to push your agendas. That's not how this works. Your job is to translate, and translate it properly. That is your job. Your job is not to push your agenda. Your job is to keep the script like it's supposed to be. Thing of it is, Tsundere, at the same time, there is no offense to that word. I would love to see somebody get triggered over the word Tsundere. Because you know what? I have never heard anyone get upset over that word. Not once have I heard somebody get upset over the word Tsundere. It's utterly absurd. But Novectacle, they actually came out, and this is what they stated. We have noticed there are discussions among some English community about the translation of Fata Morgana, so we would like to express our simple thought. We stand for the main translator's opinion. Oh. Ah, no. No, not good. You bent the knee. We assume it was picked up without taking into consideration the situation and the characters' relationships. The word appeared in the backyard, the specific situation that the characters explain their stories, doing fourth wall breaking. The word was said by Morgana to Jacopo. Morgana, especially in the backyard, speaks very acrimoniously. Plus, she has a reason to insult him, as the original word too, it is closer to bitter, sarcastic meaning about his attitude. So Tsundere, at that line, was not ordinarily Tsundere, meaning thinking those situations. We understand well our translator has chosen the word after much reflection. They bent the knee. Oh, this is something you don't do. Now you've opened the doors to more of this. Novectacle. No. It's so bad. Because the thing is, there was nothing wrong with the word Tsundere being used there. And here's the thing. Now that they have bent the knee, Manga Gamer is going to continue to do this in translations. This is always what happens. When you leave the door open to Puritans to jump in, you better believe they will continue to do this. and they will bend the knee even further, which is not looking good. But anyways, let me know what you think about this situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you're still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share it on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.